Shadows within. Lana Hart moved through the labyrinth of cubicles at Langley with purposeful strides, her mind a whirlwind of calculations and connections. As a senior CIA analyst, her work revolved around piecing together patterns buried in terabytes of data. But this was different. The stakes were immeasurably higher. A cryptic message intercepted from a terrorist cell hinted at an imminent attack, and worse, a mole within the agency had likely facilitated it. Her desk, cluttered with files, glowing monitors, and half-empty coffee cups, was a battlefield. The message in question read, "The storm begins at dawn," vague but chilling. Cross-referencing it with recent intelligence, Lana uncovered a set of coordinates pointing to a warehouse in Berlin. The agency had no authorized operations in the area, deepening the mystery. Her instincts screamed that this wasn't just a terrorist plot. There was an unseen hand orchestrating events. Lana had learned to trust her gut. It had saved her more than once. But this time, the shadows seemed darker, the danger closer. Her mind raced as she began unraveling threads that threatened to pull the agency apart. A suspicious pattern. Hours into her analysis, Lana discovered a trail. Travel logs from Andrew Keene, a seasoned field operative, showed inconsistencies. His reports were immaculate, almost too perfect, as if he were trying to cover something up. Keene had a sterling reputation, a man whose loyalty to the agency was presumed unshakable. But Lana knew better than to trust appearances. Digging deeper, she found that Keene had been in Berlin multiple times over the past 6 months, often without clear justification. The timing aligned suspiciously with classified leaks that had jeopardized several operations. Was he the mole? Or was he merely a pawn in someone else's game? Either way, Lana knew she needed answers. Her stomach twisted at the thought of betrayal from within. The CIA demanded loyalty, but it wasn't immune to human flaws: greed, fear, ambition. Lana had seen it before, but the scope of this potential treason made her blood run cold. If Keene was involved, his actions could destabilize entire nations. Berlin's shadows. Lana requested a temporary transfer to the CIA's Berlin station under the guise of assisting with an intelligence backlog. Once there, she covertly monitored Keene. The man was meticulous, almost robotic in his movements, but even the best operatives left cracks in their armor. One evening, her surveillance paid off. Keene left a local safe house and walked through the dimly lit streets to a nondescript cafe in Kreuzberg. From her vantage point across the street, Lana watched as Keene slid into a booth, exchanging an envelope with a man in a leather jacket. Her heart raced. This wasn't official business. Lana snapped a series of photos with her phone, zooming in on the exchange. Her training kicked in, cataloging every detail: the man's face, the way he handled the envelope, the tension in Keene's posture. As the leather-jacketed man left, she followed him through the maze of Berlin's cobblestone streets, her pulse quickening with every step. Uncovering the plot, the man led her to a dilapidated building on the outskirts of the city. Peering through a broken window, Lana spied as he pulled a tablet from the envelope and accessed a secure server. Her breath caught when she saw what appeared on the screen: a list of covert agents embedded across Europe. The data wasn't just dangerous, it was catastrophic. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps behind her made her freeze. She turned to find herself face to face with Keene, his expression shadowed and cold. "You're persistent," he said, his voice laced with disdain. Lana's mind raced. She needed to buy time. "You're the mole, aren't you?" Keene's smirk was chilling. "You don't understand the game you're playing, Hart. Walk away." But Lana didn't walk away. She reached for her phone to signal the Berlin station, but Keene moved faster. Before she could react, headlights flooded the area, and a team of CIA operatives swarmed the scene, guns drawn. Keene surrendered without resistance, but his calm demeanor unnerved Lana. He wasn't panicked, he was calculating, as though this was part of his plan. The bigger threat. Back at the Berlin station, Lana interrogated Keene. What he revealed chilled her to the bone. He wasn't the mastermind, he was a cog in a much larger machine. The warehouse in Berlin was a decoy. The real target was a diplomatic summit in Paris, set to take place at dawn. Who's pulling the strings? Lana demanded. Keen leaned back in his chair, a ghost of a smile on his lips. You're smart, Hart. Figure it out. Time was running out. Lana had less than 12 hours to prevent a catastrophe. The race to Paris. Lana boarded a private jet bound for Paris, her mind a whirlwind of possibilities and dead ends. If the summit was attacked, it would destabilize alliances and ignite global chaos. The mole had provided the terrorists with detailed schematics of the summit venue, a sprawling chateau on the outskirts of the city. Upon arrival, Lana coordinated with French intelligence and briefed the security teams. Every entrance, every corridor, every vantage point was scrutinized. Despite the heightened precautions, Lana couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something. The breach. Hours passed in tense silence. As dawn approached, an alarm blared. Security cameras showed armed men breaching the east wing. They moved with precision, confirming Lana's fears. They had insider knowledge. Move all teams to intercept. Lana barked into her radio, grabbing her sidearm. She joined the tactical team, adrenaline coursing through her veins. The chateau became a battlefield, its ornate halls echoing with gunfire. Lana ducked behind a pillar, firing at the intruders as they advanced. In the chaos, she cornered one of the attackers and forced him to the ground. "Who sent you?" she demanded. The man sneered. "You're already too late. A fractured alliance." The security team managed to neutralize the threat, but the aftermath revealed a deeper betrayal. Among the injured was one of Lana's own colleagues, a trusted agent who had been feeding intel to the enemy. When confronted, he admitted his role but claimed he was acting under duress. "You have no idea how deep this goes," he said before collapsing from his wounds. The diplomatic summit proceeded, but the victory felt hollow. Lana knew the mole at Langley was still at large, and the conspiracy was far from over. The aftermath. Back in Langley, Lana reviewed the data recovered from the Paris operation. The encrypted files hinted at a larger network, but the mastermind remained elusive. The phrase, "the storm begins at dawn," haunted her. It wasn't just a message. It was a promise of things to come. Her resolve hardened. The fight wasn't over. If anything, it was just beginning. Epilogue. Weeks later, Lana returned home to find a handwritten note on her desk. "You've delayed the storm, but it will come. Trust no one." The message wasn't signed, but Lana knew exactly who had sent it. The war had only just begun.